Are heading to the polls today to decide one of the tightest provincial elections in decades. The outcome could have serious ramifications for the energy industry. And to talk about them, we're joined by Roger McKnight, senior oil analyst at Enpro International. Roger, always a pleasure to have you here with us.
Good morning.
Okay, so let's talk about this. You say there's actually quite a bit at stake for the oil and gas industry in this election.
Well, that's right. You have to get the tar sands oil, the bitumen, to market. And right now, Alberta is landlocked. There's no way for
and it still will be after the election.
Yeah, because it's big land. But Cushing is constipated with crude oil, pardon that term, but Alberta has to be able to get that out to the market. The market is the U.S. Gulf Coast.
Right.
And until such time as somebody negotiates either the XL pipeline down to the Gulf Coast or the northern gateway through BC, things are going to come to a grinding halt.
And there are differences between Wild Rose and the Conservative Party on how to handle this?
Yeah, Wild Rose seems to want to go independent, be Alberta. They want to handle it all by themselves and go to the White House and talk that way. Whereas the Conservatives want to use more Mr. Harper's influence, which I tend to agree would be the best way to go. Mr. Harper seems to be very concentrated in foreign free trade agreements outside of the country, and seems to be not paying much attention to this situation in Alberta.
Do you think because of that we've seen an extra rise in Wild Rose's support?
I believe so. I believe so. The oil sands is going to get into a little bit of a problem pretty soon. Their labor costs are skyrocketing. The reliability on their upgraders, which seem to be more down than up, is questionable. And I think there are a lot of finger drummings going on with the foreign investors. We've got to get that stuff out of here. And you can't just build a pipeline overnight. You don't inflate the things. It takes like 2 years. And President Obama is trying all sorts of things to get himself elected. He approved the southern leg, but not the northern leg, so it's a pipeline to nowhere. He's instituted some controls, or wants to put some controls on investment or in futures trading. That isn't going to work either. So, and he said he's going to release oil from the SPR. That ain't going to work either, because we don't need more crude oil.
Right.
There's too much.
And I mean, the big issue that we've been talking about for quite a while, we've talked about it with you. We now have even the Bank of Canada talking about it, this discount. You've got Brent at 120 or so, you've got West Texas at a bit over 100, and then you've got Canadian oil companies in the center of the country getting around $80. Does the provincial government have any ability to do anything about this?
No, because the price of crude it's a world commodity. All right, the 49th parallel isn't recognized by the crude oil pricing situation. The discount is actually $35 a barrel right now. So they need 80 to make things viable, and they're getting below that.
Right.
It's not looking good.
So bring that into the political spectrum on what people are going to the polls to do today. I mean, there's lots of other things that the government will do, but from the economic standpoint, this is the crux of the economy.
Yes, it's the crux of the economy in Alberta and in Canada. This show is being televised from Toronto. I'm from Toronto, but I'm Canadian. And I think perhaps Alberta should think that they are in Canada too.
Right. And can a provincial government do anything? Should they be doing anything to try to speed up the construction of pipelines or other methods of moving the oil? Because that's really what the discount comes down to, right? The lack of the infrastructure to move the oil?
Yeah, but how are you going to do that? You've got so many environmental groups getting involved here, funded by who knows who. I'm very suspicious, but I'm not going to mention any. That's going to stop everything. Where's the pipeline going to go next? Over the North Pole? For goodness sake.
Right. Okay, Roger, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
You're very welcome.
That was Roger McKnight, senior oil analyst at Enpro International.